Welcome back, Dr. Larry Carnes again. So glad that you came back in to join us. We have a special guest with us for this portion, Mr. Bryan Killebrew. Now, he has a book that just blows me away when I looked at it, and the title, I Was Scared to Death When I Died. When I saw that title, I went, wow, Scared to Death When I Died. Bryan, welcome to the show. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell the people a little bit about who you are and share this awesome book with us, please.
Okay. First of all, I'm glad to be on your show. Of course, my name is Bryan Killebrew, and the book, it's a true story, and it took me 35 years to let it out because I was actually afraid to tell anybody, especially where I'm from. If you say anything that something like that, well, they'll put you in a nut house. But everything is real. There is a devil and there is a Jesus Christ, and I can start and tell you exactly how it all began. I was working. I had two jobs at the time. I was 16
Okay.
years. I was 16 years old at the time, and I was working at a grocery store. And landscape, and where I lived, I was leasing out a room, to live in with this other couple.
Yes.
And anyway, I grew to know who they were, and I thought they were pretty good friends. And one day, I come in from work, and Larry, he says, come on back here to the back. I want to show you something. And I said, all right. I said, what do you got to show me? And he says, you'll see. And I go back and follow him back there to the back. And here was this powder substance, and it was white. And he said, take some of this. And I says, well, what is it? He said, oh, you'll like it. Just try it. Just trust me. You'll like it. And so I did. And at the time, I felt like that, it didn't do anything for me. And what it ended up being is cocaine.
Yes.
And I go back into the living room where this lady, she's a nurse, a registered nurse. Her name was Denise at the time. And anyway, she asked me if I was hungry. And I said, sure. And she had, goulash on the table cooking. And
okay.
So she made me a bowl of goulash, and which, I just love goulash. And so I take one bite. I sit down at the corner, and she's sitting at the other corner, and Larry's sitting in the recliner and in the corner. And so we started to eat dinner. I take one bite, and as soon as I did, well, I leaned over to the left, and I died right there on the spot. And
Wow. So now you must have inhaled or ingested a larger amount of that cocaine.
yes, sir, I did. And it gave me too much. I overdosed on what they call overdosed on cocaine,
Wow.
and it's the devil's drug. Period.
Now
And,
tell us this. So you said now, so I was scared to death when I died. So now bring us forward and share with us what was the experience. You said you ingested it, you took one bite of goulash, you fell over, and you died on the spot.
yes, sir.
What did
And
you experience now? Because I was looking at the book, fascinated. Tell us a little bit about that experience that you had and what scared you.
well, what scared me is that I'm trapped in my own body, where I could not see, I could not move, I couldn't do anything, and I'm hollering, "Help me! Help me, please! There's something wrong." And then I hear Larry in the corner say, "Bryan, quit playing around. What's wrong with you?" And uh, uh, and Denise, his girlfriend, spoke up and said, "Well, I don't think that there's, I don't think he is playing around." And about that time, their voices went out; they faded away,
Wow.
and uh, uh, and I just knew, well, that was it for me. And as soon as that happened, I hear this huge, great, thunderous voice. All right, and it was Satan, and he spoke up and he said, "Bryan, are you ready to come with me?"
Wait a minute. So now you're unconscious physically, but spiritually, your senses, you can still hear what's going on in the room. Now their voices fade. You heard
Sir,
their conversation.
yes, their voices faded away.
Yeah. Then you hear this voice, and you say the voice of Satan, the voice of the devil speaking to you.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And he spoke up and said, "Bryan, are you ready to come with me?" And and I says, "Whoa, who is this?" And that's what I'm thinking to myself. And and another huge, great voice come uh, into the. Now remember, I cannot see anything. It's totally dark.
Yeah.
It's well, just being in. It's just being in hell with no lights.
So you're
Uh,
just hearing voices.
yes,
Okay.
uh, and 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 the good Lord spoke up. Now I put two to two together and figured out which one was which. But anyway, he spoke up and he said, "Bryan, don't listen to him. Would you like to come with me?"
You got these two voices. One is saying, "Come and go with me." The other
Uh,
voice saying, "Don't listen to this voice. Would you like to come with me?" So how did you respond?
I responded, "Well, who is who?" That's what I was thinking. Uh, and I remember my grandmother when I was a little boy. That's who I lived with. She told me, "Son, there's a devil and there is uh, a Lord out
Yeah.
there." And she says, "Just be real careful." you know. And but anyway, the first voice come back into the picture. Now remember, I could not see them,
Right.
and and uh, he spoke up and said, "Now, don't listen to him. Would you like to come with me?"
Okay.
So I mean, he's saying the same thing that he did from the beginning, and then the other voice, the second voice, spoke up and said, "Bryan, don't look to the left nor to the right, for I am in the middle."
Mm.
And as soon as he said that, I said to myself, "All right, don't be confused. Don't look to the left, don't look to the right, for I'm in the middle. Middle is heart, heart is Jesus."
Wow.
And
Wow. Wow.
so I concentrated on Jesus, and that's when Jesus reached down and grabbed me by my hand, and we were going to heaven.
So
And
now he reached down and grabbed you by the hand,
yes, sir.
and then you found yourself ascending and going to heaven.
Yes, sir.
So now bring us back. We have just a few minutes left. So take us from that. When did you come back? I mean, what happened? You say you were scared to death. Now Jesus is grabbing you by the hand, escorting you to heaven. So what happened when you came back? What was the reality of that after having that experience?
Well, the reality was that, especially now that I know, as a young man at 16 years old, uh, you either go straight to hell or you go to heaven.
Okay.
It's not that you go up there and you get judged and then you're going to go to hell. And that's what I was thinking. Maybe that would be what would happen. And but as of now, I just wished I just kept on going, because he asked, he asked me. He says, "Bryan, would you would you like to come to heaven with me?" And and I said, "Yes, sir." And at the same time, I'm looking straight down because he's got his hand on,
Wow.
my head. I could not look up and see him.
Okay.
And it felt like 5,000 pounds on my neck.
Wow.
And
Now, okay, so we only have about 1 minute left. That's a fascinating story. And I mean, I know, wow. I mean, to have that experience, do this for me. Tell our audience where they can get in, how they can contact you, and where they can get your book. Have about 1 minute to do that.
okay, you can reach me at www.arthur, AWTHOR, Bryan, BRYAN, Killebrew, KILLEBREW.com. And you can grab the book from there, and it will tell you, all the story
Wow.
that happened.
What
And
an amazing story. And I tell you, and I know it's available on Amazon.
yes, sir.
Yes.
It's on Amazon, Ingram. It's everywhere.
We want to thank our viewing audience for watching us, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time right here on Spotlight TV. Have a great day. Mr. Killebrew, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, and God bless you.